Good morning. Let's jump into our daily devotion. I've been looking at a lot of passage over the last few days and thinking about the times that we're coming into and, how as individuals, as a community, as a nation, and globally, how we are called to be transformers of the world. We are called to be impactors and influencers of the world. And I've got some scripture I want to go through. I'm going to read I'm going to kind of go through my first point. I have this really 3 points, but one I'm going to open up. I'm going to read the scripture that I really tied to it, and then I'm going to give you the other 2 points with some scripture that you can go look at yourself. I may still jump into those over the next couple days. It just depends on where the Lord leads. But the first point is this. We're called to be a blessing to our nation. Like, we're called to be a blessing. And not just to us, not just to our families, but to our nation. Proverbs 11, 9 through 18 says this: "The teachings of hypocrites can destroy you, but revelation knowledge will rescue the righteous. The blessing that rests on the righteous releases strength and favor to the entire city." I love that. The favor that rests on us, right? It releases strength and favor to the entire city. You and I have a responsibility to bring strength and favor to our city. "But shouts of joy will be heard when the wicked one dies. The blessing of favor resting upon the righteous influences a city to lift it higher, but wicked leaders tear it apart by their words. To quarrel with a neighbor is senseless. Bite your tongue, be wise, and keep quiet. You can't trust gossipers with a secret. They'll just go blab it all. Put your confidence instead in a trusted friend, for he will be faithful to keep it in confidence. People lose their way without wise leadership, but a nation succeeds and stands in victory when it has many good counselors to guide it. The evil man will do harm when confronted by a righteous man, because he hates those who await good news. A gracious, generous woman will be honored with a splendid reputation, but the woman who hates the truth lives surrounded with disgrace and by men who are cutthroats, only greedy for money. A man of kindness attracts favor, while a cruel man attracts nothing but trouble." That word trouble, actually, when you break that down, it actually is talking about physical health, like your physical health. Evil people may get a short-term gain, but to sow seeds of righteousness will bring a true and lasting reward. I just want to challenge you, that you have influence. And not only do you have influence, but as we move forward, recognizing the power of your influence, right? We need wise, godly people right now to provide good advice and counsel. We need good, godly people to exercise restraint. Seeking the heart of God should be our number one focus right now. Seeking how we can be kind, how we can be helpful, how we can lead others to Jesus, not away. I opened up that first line was hypocrites. It talks about hypocrites. Now listen, there are lots of times when we do not mean to be a hypocrite, but there are times when we do things that display hypocrisy. And so we are in a season right now, as we move forward, I would challenge you to look through Proverbs 11. Pay attention to 9 through 18, recognizing that you're called to be a blessing to your nation, a blessing to your community, a blessing to your family. And there are actions and things that we need to be doing that will help this. Part of this 3-part way to transform the world, outside of being a blessing to your nation, is we're called to break down divisions of every kind. John 4, 1 through 26 really breaks down how we can carry out this breaking down of the divisions. Number 3 is this: cry out to God for good leadership. Right now, there are a lot of people blasting leadership, but we need to be crying out for good leadership. We need to be praying for good leadership, for godly leadership. Not just good leadership, but we need to be praying and crying out for godly leadership. We have the ability to transform what's going on around us if we can trade ourselves from being angry and upset and disappointed and disillusioned, and instead, beginning to speak words of kindness, beginning to speak words of affirmation. Remember that we bring blessing and favor and strength to our city. So as you go forward today, be a blessing to your nation.